And we are live with Danny Moody from all kinds of stuff.
And everywhere.
I'm, this guy's a Johnny Cash song.
See, you're older than me. You're
Mm.
way older than me. I don't know Johnny Cash.
How old are you? I'm not older than you.
You're older than me.
Oh, no.
Birthday was March
Hmm.
of 86.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me.
Well,
You old fart.
I know. I can tell in the morning. I can tell I'm getting older in the morning for sure.
Yeah, no, you only got me by a couple months. I'm November of 86.
Right.
Still don't know very much Johnny Cash.
The old Johnny Cash song is I've Been Everywhere. And it's like,
Hmm.
oh, I've been everywhere, man. And then it's like just
Oh, yeah, yeah,
cities.
yeah.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best song.
Yeah, so this last year has felt like I've been everywhere.
Yeah, no kidding, dude.
I've traveled more this last year than probably my whole life,
Yeah.
and it's been awesome.
Last year was like that for me. And
Yeah.
it just seemed like one after the other. Every other month we were going somewhere doing something. And it was like you said, it's a little overwhelming, but it is amazing.
Overwhelming? Heck no. Like can I leave tomorrow for the next one? Let's go.
Yeah, right.
My
Me.
wife, she jokes around. She's like, "So where are you going next month?" I'm like, I'd say something. And then finally this month I was like, I don't got nothing. So I'm pretty bummed about it.
It's funny because I'm on the other end of that going, no, there's nothing going on in the next little while. I'll be here.
Mm.
And then somebody calls it up like out the door.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, man. What have you been up to? We did Surrey and Black Friday.
Well, see, my year started off going to Texas in January to be part of a YouTube channel.
Right, which was good.
Yeah, well, I thought it was a great time.
Same.
In fact, they're going to be doing their main house, and I offered my services to Frame, but they want me to come back for the drywall as well. So that'll be a blast.
Nice.
And they live like 40 minutes away from my family. So, like, I get to visit with my family, get to have fun on a YouTube channel. Like, it's a win win.
I I feel like if you can make that stuff around other stuff, it's the perfect way to do it. Like stopping in for visits before and after, or all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just work. Not that our work is work.
I don't, I don't know. I don't work. Like,
Mhm.
I'm too much of a goofball to make it, whether I'm racing myself, singing out loud. Like yesterday, I was singing. This I'm wearing headphones, so I'm just blasting
Same.
out there. And the HVAC guys come in, they're like, you singing to yourself?" I'm like, "No, I'm singing to anybody who will listen."
Well, did you hear me? Then I was
Yeah,
singing to you, buddy.
exactly. Did you enjoy it? Doesn't matter.
That's right. I'm gonna do it anyway. Uh, yeah,
But no,
man.
first we had Orlando.
Right.
Dude, Orlando. That like I'm a night owl as it is, but that last night I couldn't go to sleep. And I was alone in my room eating those cookies and I could not go to sleep. I ended up sleeping from like I think 6:30 to 7:30 and that was it.
Well, and with your time change too, right? So
Yeah.
we had all of us. So like 3 o'clock in the morning is only midnight to you, anyways.
Yep, true.
Mountain Dew and cookies. Yeah.
Yep, that was a good time. Those steaks. I will never forget those steaks.
No, they were
Never.
so good.
So good.
Everyone that I talk to about Florida, that's the first thing that they bring up.
It's true.
the
You'll never understand unless you were there.
no, the blackout steaks,
And apparently, even if you were there, you blacked out and still don't remember. But
right?
so who knows?
Yeah, that was amazing, man. And we had all that was the first time we met.
Yeah, in person. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, totally,
Hmm.
man.
First time meeting Caden.
Mm-hmm.
He's a
Yeah.
loser, but
Yeah,
whatever.
total loser. Um he always tells that like he thought you and I were like best friends. And I'm like, I just met Danny. And then he's like,
Hmm.
no way. And the more I hear from that, I'm like, that's a testament to how patient and kind Danny is.
I am not patient
if,
at
if,
all.
if you could spend 2 days with me when I'm wound up, you're
Uh,
resilient.
I'm always wound up.
Dude, that is true. I don't know how many times I've said you're like a puppy.
Yeah, I remember. I've heard
Like
that.
just getting into stuff and like fucking running around. It's like, dude, do you want to go for a run or what's going on? And you were like,
At
yeah, where can we
at
go for a run?
at any moment, let's do it.
Yeah.
And people always ask me like, why do you have so much energy? Like, and I could say the Mountain Dew, but I can drink 3 Mountain Dews, go to bed.
Hmm.
It's I'm a firm believer of it's all in your head.
Yes.
If you want to have the energy, go for it. And if you allow certain obstacles, like something happens at work and you're like, oh, you let it drag you down, your energy can drop if you allow it. But
Yeah.
me, I'm just like, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. You want to drop an invisible anchor on the floor and carry it around all day. You can do that.
Yeah, go for it.
You don't have to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're a testament to that. Yeah, I
I
mean, it's
like,
always fun to joke about your sugar intake, but that it is the machine that is you that is running. It's the,
mm-hmm.
yeah, I think energy just goes into that stomach ears and fizzles away. Like
It's true.
whatever you're ingesting is just disappearing.
Mm-hmm. And then met Hayden at the
Hmm.
Orlando. He's too tall. Like,
He, I mean, he's too tall for me. So
try being me.
I know, I
Like
know.
I'm Gilbert height, okay, which is I shouldn't even be up here. I should be down here for that.
Hmm.
But like I'm short, and then you stand next to that guy, he could kneel and we'd be the same height. Like cut his calves off and his feet, we'd still be the same height.
Right? You're like, we're gonna do this, and then he put his feet back on. He's still taller than you. You're like, damn.
Yeah, they Whippy did the lives for
Hmm.
the Christmas, and he went live with Caden, and I told him that I'd race him on stilts, and nobody thinks I can win. So now I'm itching for it.
Man, some of that stuff, I thought, okay, so the other day, I thought you had three Reiki sticks all on top of each other to hit that nail spotter, but is that
Mm-hmm.
just one stretched all the way out?
No, so I am old school. My dad had well Blue Line, but it was originally Premier, then it became
Right.
Blue Line, then Tape Pro, and those handles actually screw into each other, like thread into themselves.
Perfect.
I have two 2 foot, two 4 foot, and then the 3 foot that came on the nail spotter. So like I could go higher than what I did.
No kidding.
But that's what I started on. Those are my like favorite handles. And in fact, my I have a 3 foot handle, only one left from way back then, and they're bright blue. Like you see that, but it
Hmm.
is faded gray. It is so
Nice.
worn out and used.
It's from your
It's
hands.
oh yeah, black on my hands at the end of the day from it rubbing off.
So you're talking about how tall Hayden is. He comes on the podcast. He's not running the taper that he has. And it's like, why not just start using it? And then he ends up getting a Predator. So I head out there to kind of
Yeah, why
spend.
not, man? You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
That's right. Well, I told him on the podcast, like, pick a room, man. Pick a room in every house. Do it. Take as much time as you want to do it. Just do it perfectly, and then go back to the way you used to do it.
Don't
And
even do
then,
it perfectly.
yeah,
Just do it. Like I remember I started when I was like 15, 14 with the bazooka, and my dad, the garages at the time were just fire code, so just needed tape, spot screws, set the
perfect.
corner bead, and he would let me start there. And dude, my drag at the beginning,
Hmm.
hideous. I always had to carry around 6 inches pieces of tape to fill the corners because I was so bad at it.
Right.
But I started,
And you
so
get better.
oh yeah,
It's
you
just the
always
way
get
that it
better.
is. So he has a media team come in that day to do a couple of videos and this and that. And he starts sending me the pictures that they took all day. And then he sends me one of us standing together. And he's like, I'm not sure if you noticed, but I'm taller than you. So I'm like,
Something I noticed right off the bat with everyone, and something you may not notice.
right. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a great addition. I'm a
Nah,
big fan of
nah,
Hayden. I know.
nah. It's kind of a weirdo.
He is a weirdo for sure.
Fits right in.
So then what did you do after Orlando? Was Surrey next?
Yeah, I think Surrey was a couple weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
Although we did get back from Orlando and was supposed to leave like in a couple days, and I got pushed off
Yeah.
again. So,
Oh
but then yeah,
man.
Surrey and meeting even more people.
Mm-hmm.
Steph, Gilberts, Wes,
Yep.
Chad.
Yeah. That was a good one.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
much fun.
for somebody that has as much fun as you and that like attitude that you carry, I've also seen you in like very stressful situations and it doesn't change at all.
No,
I've also
nope.
seen you in boring situations where it doesn't change at all either. So it's like this
It's
is just
true.
as it is a
This
tone.
is this is the energy you get.
That's right.
Yeah.
Doesn't turn
No, I
off, doesn't turn on.
no, and I like working by myself, but like bringing all that energy together, like I'm in it and I'm going to
100%.
just run even harder with it. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, whether it's falling with the 6 foot bazooka or whatever.
What are your thoughts on that 6 foot? Like
Dude.
I know with your height I get it, but I mean like functionally it's because it's now available. It's coming out.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think that
So
has a big thing to do with you, by the way.
hey, I'll try. I'll do whatever they ask me to. That thing is amazing. Like you're tall. Do you
Mhm.
think you can tape the horizontal 10 foot from the floor
Oh
with
no.
the, yeah, this thing changes that. Like I taped this whole house. It was like 300 sheets. So what, 15,000 board feet almost.
Hmm.
And the upstairs, which was like, I don't know, 40 or 50 of that was 8 foot, but the rest was flat foot 10. And I taped the entire job from the floor.
Nice.
It just changed everything. It was so awesome. So I ran around and I did all the walls and the uprights with the regular one, but then I did
Hmm.
all the, because I can do ceiling flats 10 foot. It's a stretch and a job that big, I'm going to be worn down by the end of the day. But like
100%.
with the new, and it's carbon fiber, everyone's like, it's so heavy. No, it weighs the same as my 1990s that Aaron rebuilt for me. They're like
Hmm.
almost identical. It's just a little bit more tippy, but with it being so lightweight, I barely noticed it. It was awesome. It
I,
changed
I
the game.
I'm excited to see that and
Mm-hmm.
like the response that it gets because it's I think that video a couple of people knew about the 6 foot taper, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that video you put out, I think there's like a huge response from that. Is like, so where do we get that?
Mm-hmm. And
Like,
I think every
how
time
come
I
Danny
get
gets one?
every time I get a message about it, private or a comment, I'll like either screenshot it or go to Aaron and be like, Aaron, look, people are asking about it. What are you going to do anything? And at first he's like, I don't know. And then I sent him one recently. He's like, well, good thing that they get in next week. And I'm like, oh, sweet. So it was pretty sweet.
That's pretty exciting stuff. I mean, Brad's got that. I don't know what else to call it, but like the punk version of a taper. He's got the spikes on it, and then he's got that cutter sleeve
Right. Yeah. 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 I've seen it.
attachment, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's upside down. So that kind of allows me to do, I think, what a 6 foot taper would allow somebody else to do because I can still cut it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that extra height. I'm just thinking about a situation I'd have to be in. But I guess yeah, the 10 foot. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I know.
Well, it's a game changer for me. Like it was awesome. Almost the only thing that uh I mean, I would like it to be filled up all the way. I
Totally.
get why you can't. But then other than that, you need to figure out a way to know when it's full.
Hmm.
Because you don't want to be pumping, hit the end of the cable and go and break it, right?
Blow it. Yeah.
Blow it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like I every time I empty it out, no matter what. So I know 10 and a quarter pumps back to basically full. But that's the only thing. And Aaron talked about different ways that they could fix that. So I'm sure he's figuring that one out soon.
Oh yeah. And well, he's been talking about the detachable head for a long time too. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. And I think that mechanism has that cable assembly attached to the head.
Mm-hmm.
So then it'll be the same thing where they'll all be the same tube length or
Right.
whatever,
Right.
which is interesting. Dude, it's going to be a big year next year. I had Aaron and Caden on and we did a recap of last year.
Yeah, I listened to that one.
Yeah, right. And like
Yep.
the amount of absolute wins that happened over and over again and like nobody paid attention to it. It was just like full steam ahead.
This is our busy season, Caden, and he never really got a break.
Yeah. From now till 2030.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I'm all for it. I like busy seasons.
Me too, man. I like thrive in that little bit of chaos. And now that chaos isn't like costs me money anymore. Cause like I'm, I've been in the game a little bit longer now. So things are becoming predictable and you're quoting properly and all that kind of stuff. But that chaos of like too much work, it's like you get an extra gear, where you kind of put your head to it. You seem to be just forever. There's always three sites on the go or whatever. Like, I like seeing it, man. It's very motivational.
A lot of people don't think that I'm almost 40.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm starting to look my age, but I still get guessed around 30.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my dad, he ran hard for a long, long time. I remember I first graduated, he's 42, and he just like threw me to the wolves, right?
Nice.
You think it's hard being thrown to the wolves like Caden? No. Try finishing full houses as an 18-year-old when you got the experience, but putting everything together to make it look good, man. But we had this upstairs. It was like probably 75 sheets. He shows up and he literally boxes out, angles it out, and I'm helping, but we're done in less than an hour. I mean, that man can still like. I went to Texas this last November for family vacay. My cousin had a baby, so we went down and visited. Met up with
Congrats.
Lydia and Austin at that time before Black Friday.
Yeah.
But he had to finish a house, a 100 board house. Nothing big, but he did it in 5.5 hours, and he's 62 years old.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and then the next day he had to have it sanded, masked, primered, and textured before he picked my mom up from the airport at noon.
So you come by it naturally, is what you're trying to.
Yeah, I'm
So
a
you're
third generation. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like my dad. So similar house. I'm 18, and tape day, coat day, skim day, sand day, 4 days in and out. Well, I called dad on day 2 because setting beat is taking me forever. There's like 80
Mhm.
sticks in this house. And he very sternly says, Danny, you have got to get this down to 4 days. I'll give it to you this time, but you don't get it next time. Okay, dad. So like this is my upbringing. This is and it just so happens that I respond very good to criticism.
Mhm.
I don't get upset. Like for the most part, I channel it in a positive way. And he never gets mad. He never gets mad. So it was always just like a stern
Mhm.
talking to if it needed it. But most of the time, he's just joking, happy go lucky as well.
I feel like criticism from somebody who can teach you something is huge.
Oh yeah, and
Right.
it comes across way better too.
Hmm.
Like say it's some jackwagon off the street, like some of the comments I get, and he tries to. It's like okay, whatever, just keep talking. That's all it is.
Hmm.
But like someone you look up to, respect. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're like with the amount of time that you spend on here trolling comments, I've taped a house. So
And
it,
notice I said respect as well because I
mhm.
look up to everybody. So you got to have respect to.
I guess even the worst people get to say that you look up to them, and that's
Yep.
fucking really, that's really nice.
Yep. Well, Lydia, she had a video on her on Scaffolding. One of I don't know who it is. Maybe she knows him, but he commented how he looks up to her, and I was like, nobody looks up to Lydia, dude.
Ah, you two are hilarious with each other. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I, I almost feel like people that didn't know either one of you would think that you're either brother and sister or you don't like each other at all. It's,
Well, we
it's
got the same genetics of being short, so
right.
we could pull that off. But she's so old.
No, I won't even play that game on here.
What? I say it all the time to her. Mm. But yeah, I mean, it just coincides with what you're talking about.
Oh,
Yeah. But
totally.
like I pick on everybody.
Oh yeah.
But like if I find out that you can't handle it, even though you say you can, I'll stop. I'll stop. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's this I've always said that like it's always called bullying when I say it, but it's always in good fun,
Banter.
and it kind of like brings people together. Or it's like these people are my friends. They can say terrible things to me. I know they're joking. At least
Mm-hmm.
you hope. And I don't know. It just like you feel like part of the team.
Well, you always got to have that one person that takes the blunt of it.
Oh yeah,
And so last,
Hayden.
not, well, last November, not this year, but the one before when I went up to Surrey with Phil and Aaron,
Hmm.
it was me.
Was it?
I, oh, yeah, I let them have it because,
Yeah.
someone's got to be it. Like they were picking on me hardcore when they're telling me go get a tool and I couldn't find it. What, you don't know what pliers are, Danny? I was like, well, no, they're not where you said they were, but they they got me.
They got me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took me a minute to figure out that that's like Aaron's love language. Because in the beginning, you're just like, man, this guy's super cool. And like, I think we're buddies or whatever. But then you're also like, this is Aaron St. James, the guy that like
Mm-hmm.
owns the tool company that you use. So we were out to dinner the first night after Vegas, and every single person that came to that booth, I was like, hey, blah blah blah, answer all the questions, and then going, by the way, I have a podcast, right? And I'd give them a card, right? So he doesn't say anything about it all day long until we get to dinner, and then the waitress comes, gets everyone's order. I give her my order, and she leaves, and he turns to me, and goes, "You didn't want to tell her you have a podcast, or?" And I wasn't sure how to take it because I was just like, is he mad that I did that? But then as it continued, I was like, oh, yeah, no, this is bullying, and that's okay.
No, I don't think Aaron gets mad.
No, I've never seen him upset.
Well, when I
Not
first met them, they flew me out to Maryland for the show back in 19. And we all got our separate hotel rooms and they were meeting down in the hotel bar. I mean, it was really more than that. It was this grand place, like huge. Like the convention was the hotel, was the bar. Like it was massive.
right.
Literally just had to walk down to it. Anyway, so I meet him down there. Phil's there, and I think it was Elliot. And the whole night, I had no clue that they're the owners at all,
Mm-hmm.
at all. Like no clue until the next day when we start getting lined up and I ride to Home Depot with Elliot and everything. And he starts talking. I'm like, oh, wow. I put it together, but yeah,
Yeah,
they're just like you and me. Like they don't go around nothing announcing it. Awesome people. Awesome people.
it's like there's this I don't like could care less vibe coming from people that care the most.
You mean couldn't care less?
Couldn't care less. What did I say? Yeah,
You
it's the
said could
opposite.
care less. Yeah.
Yeah, he could care less. Um, but yeah, it's like I don't know. It's very humble. I think
No,
it's
that's
just the way that they were raised, man.
that's a very good way to put it though.
Yeah.
Because though like Aaron at Surrey, like he did everything he could to help that job along.
Mhm.
Everything.
Yeah, and even like getting up to it, like in the original thoughts of it, it was like, okay, and then we'll get housing, and then maybe we can get our trim techs, and like it was a stressful thing, and he kind of got like the feel for it. He's like, no, this is going to be a different thing now, and it like it would not have been what it was without Aaron stepping in,
Oh,
being, you know what I mean? Like he's
not
just
even
so good
close.
at it. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and having the rig there and having all the tools there and like spending a Sunday, your entire Sunday setting that place up so everybody had a better day on Monday. That's the kind of guy
Mm-hmm.
he is. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Elliot's one of my favorite people. I whenever I get to chat with him or spend any time with him, it's like he's very inquisitive, like brilliant. It's yeah, it's nice hanging out with those guys. But yeah, there
Yep.
is no tone of like I own a tool company or I'm better than or anything. There's never
Nope.
been anything like that.
In fact, they bash people like that so bad.
They do, yeah.
Oh, it's so awesome. So awesome.
Oh man. So how was your Christmas, man? You had a good Christmas?
Oh yeah, just together with the family. I
Hmm.
let's see, I didn't work Friday. So 3 day weekend, work Monday, 2 days, and then another 3 day weekend.
Nice.
It's like that week in between Christmas and New Year's. It's just like, do we even exist?
It, I mean,
We're just like floating in the ether.
It's like turkey coma, like too many snacks. It's just
Oh gosh. And then
like a
my
shutdown.
kids, they get me so many Reese's. Like I went to town and I haven't even made a dent in them. And I usually eat the whole thing in a night. But I got like 4 packages. It's a good time.
It's a good
Sugar,
time.
sugar coma. And yes, even I can have a sugar coma.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, after the first of the year, we got quite a bit of work. So that's good.
Good.
Although something out of town would be nice.
I know, right?
Well, after Surrey, I went to Edmonton
Hmm.
and did the same time that you went to Hayden's job. I went and did a collab with the Gilberts while you guys went over there. Well, you're already over there, but when Steph literally left that airport as I was landing, almost.
No way.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that would have been perfect.
yeah. It would have been cool.
Um, I loved that happened.
Oh yeah.
That it was like, okay, we're doing collab stuff now, and you know what? Maybe we'll start flying people in, and everything works out
Mm-hmm.
good. And then we get word from Aaron. He's like, yeah, there might be something else going on. And then you start seeing their posts about who is it. People are saying me. I'm like, I have a site. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, that was dope, man. I don't
In
know. I
fact, they that job that we did up there was like I want to say 25 or 26,000 board feet.
It's massive.
And I I think we could have gotten done by that Saturday, but they didn't finish hanging until Tuesday.
That's so rough.
Yeah, so we did the upstairs and bottom floor and then caught up the other floor. And then Saturday we could have pushed through, but they're like, no, let's go have fun.
Hmm.
So we worked very little that day. But we were off at like I think our latest day was 4:45.
Hmm.
And we still I think they took another 2 half days to finish it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
They
Those
motor.
dude, dude.
They're
Like I
moving.
motor, but they motor.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just like I like to talk and sit around
Hmm.
at like lunch break, but they eat their food, they do their post, and then they're back.
Hmm.
And I'm like, "Well, all right, I guess I better follow suit. When in Rome.
We're not having second breakfast.
Exactly.
Yeah, working with other people is awesome, man. And like I always shied away from it because it was like nobody's gonna care as much as you care. And then do you bring them to your job or like what do you overwork on someone else's job? Like, do you know what I mean? With these things, it's like everybody does this every day of the week. Everyone's good. It's you don't have to worry about anything. It's just fun. It's a bunch of
Oh,
people that like know what they're doing, getting
it's a
together.
blast.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll have some more this year, I think. It's been nice to take some kind of time off from that stuff and just like focusing at home a little bit and do that stuff. But I think
Eh.
first couple of months of next year, I'll be itching,
Yeah, I am itching because it's been over a month since I've done anything, and that was not the case that whole year last year.
right? Are you coming to Charlotte?
I have not a clue. I'll go,
Mm,
but I no, maybe I'll invite myself again. That's what I did in Orlando.
yeah.
Well,
Uh,
that's
uh,
what I did in Surrey. That's what I did in Orlando. I have FOMO hardcore because I want to be everywhere. Yeah.
well, and there's no reason not to be, man. You know, like
Yeah,
I
Aaron, I messaged him last year. I was like, so when's Intex or anything? And he's like, oh, it's such and such. I was like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, well, buy your ticket, come on with. I'm like, done,
Zoom. Yeah.
done. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I ended up getting the same flight as him from Seattle to Orlando. So that was even cooler.
Nice. And then we got a manicure pedicure. Well, you got a
I
manicure
did.
pedicure.
I couldn't. Okay. She tricked me.
Hmm.
She tricked me. I had no clue what she was saying. I just started nodding my head. And
Yeah.
she walks me over to the other table. And I'm like, oh, crap. I just did this.
That's the politeness in you backfiring.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. From
I,
now on, say no when you don't entiendo.
I I remember the like everybody thought Aaron was joking. He's like, you guys want to
I
go get
did.
some
I did.
pedicures
I didn't want to
done?
do it. I didn't want to do it.
Right up until we walked into the place, I think half that group thought that we were just joking. Like,
Mm-hmm.
well, Oh, you were gonna do it,
Yeah, my nail stayed shiny forever.
dude. I remember in that group chat, just sending our shiny toes around.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, still looking good. Yeah, man. I think Intex is gonna be dope this year. I think so. It's we're there's gonna be like the road trip heading down there,
Right, right, right.
and then it's a
Yeah, I
matter of
heard I heard him say that they're going to be road tripping. They can stop off. I am on the way to anywhere uh southeast from
mhm,
them. So
which
I'm on
is
the way.
literally where they're going.
Hmm.
Hmm. I can
And they
see
can
that.
they can they can store it on my property any day.
Yeah, it's 4 hours from them.
He said store it somewhere. He didn't say
Yeah,
where.
you're in there taking videos and like,
Well, he can fly to Spokane and I'll pick him up. I don't care.
there you go.
Yeah.
Now we're thinking.
He's supposed to come here anyways. He promised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
5 years ago.
it's
I don't
it's
know if
an
it was that long
it's
ago,
an awful
but
long promise, Aaron.
I don't know if it was that long ago, but it was definitely him and Elliot both.
Head out, see what's up.
Yeah,
Nice,
they better.
nice. Yeah, I'm
I think it
excited
was
about it.
I think it was over a year ago when I went up that November. They took me out to dinner. It was
Hmm. Wasn't it your
insane.
birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the second year in a row I haven't been home for my birthday.
This will be the second year that I'm not home for my birthday either.
Yep.
So it's like, ooh. Not that I do anything, but it's like I'm sure my
Well,
mom's sitting
March
there.
isn't the Intex like the second and third of
Oh,
April?
yeah.
Yeah. So you might be
So,
home for your birthday.
well, no, because I don't know what it was last year, but we were there on my birthday last year.
Yeah, it was the end of March.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I will be. Depending on if I do this road trip, I won't be.
How long is that going to be?
I don't know. It sounds like they're coming all the way through. They're going to hit a bunch of stores, like do it properly, like no wasted time kind of deal. Saying stop in and see some people, but I was like, I'd love to be last leg of that race, first leg of that race.
Are you going to join the Amazing Race or something?
I mean, after they get a
Mm.
after they see how good we are at it.
Actually, speak of that, me and my dad are going to apply to the Amazing Race tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep, yep, yep.
You
And
guys
then
just about got it, right? Like if they
I'll.
didn't they say that they didn't watch the video or something?
No, no, no. I don't know about that, but after filming Tough as Nails,
Hmm.
COVID hit.
Right.
So the May after COVID hit, Phil called all of us up just to check in, see if we needed anything, and then he said, because Dad went to the finale, he said that he'd love to see me and Dad on Amazing Race. So after we put in our application, I'll just call Phillips. Hey, Phil. So finally got that application in. So maybe put us at the front of the line. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a hope. Fingers crossed. But
You'll
we
get it.
applied. We applied for that show back when I was 18.
Right.
And so one of the things we did in our application video was it was the one where they had four people. It was me, my dad, my uncle, and my cousin. We all raced each other on stilts.
Right.
And Phil loves stilts. So I told him one time at lunch while filming one of our episodes, like, I got a bone to pick with you. He's like, what? I'm like, you didn't pick us back in 2005 or something like that. And he's like, oh, well, sorry. I hated that season anyways.
Well,
Because
you
he
wouldn't
had,
have.
well, no, he did. He said he didn't hate it, but he said it was so hard eliminating the little kids that they allowed to do the
Oh,
show because they would just break down in tears. And yeah, he said it was pretty tough.
just kicking puppies every episode.
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's ruthless.
Hmm. But yeah, fingers crossed we get in.
I mean, that'd be dope. It'd be cool to sit at mom's house and watch on TV again.
Yeah, and I still watch Survivor, and the season finale just aired a week ago, and my son's like, "You're gonna play for that one too, right, Dad?" I'm like, "All right, I guess I'll do that one too."
I would love
So,
to go on Survivor.
dude, seriously, I mean, I'm thinking about it just for the weight loss, like get rid of the dad bod.
right? I come out of that and I'm still fat, and everyone's like, "Bro, you almost got there."
Well, just use the excuse that they shrunk it down from 39 days to 26. So you lost 2 weeks of weight loss.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
it's really unfair to me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so you don't starve to death while you're.
Yeah. Can we extend it, please?
Man, some of these people that like show up and they're ripped, and I'm like, "Oh, you look real good on camera, man, but you got nothing. You got
Mm-hmm.
no supplies."
Yeah. You're going to be struggling like this guy named John. He was on a couple of seasons ago, just a beast. Like he holds either held or holds the world record for most pull-ups with the most weight,
Whoa.
like strapping like 100 pounds to him, and he had the most pull-ups. I think he got like 9 or 10. Yeah. And he just dominated the season, but he's like, I need so much protein right now. I am
Yeah.
losing. Yeah.
Well, because you would.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like you're gonna die from it or whatever, but like
Right.
that body needs protein to keep that mass up.
I mean, not to name drop, but he follows me on Instagram too, so that's cool.
Nice. Through my adventures with you, I did find out that you are the best name dropper.
Well, of
That
course. I've
you're
already
just
dropped
like
Phil Kogan.
these other
Uh,
famous people I talked to.
yep. Can't help it. I
Phil
even know
Kogan.
the I even know all the winners to all the toughest nails.
Yeah,
Yep, and I smack talk to all of them.
I love that.
Actually, no, I don't. Not Leo. I didn't smack talk to her, but I smack talked to like Scott D. Henry and Ben, who won season 5, who's
Nice.
Canadian, by the way.
Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go.
Yep. But I told him he's lucky I wasn't there, or else he wouldn't have won.
Yeah. And you're like, and we'll never know until you talk them
We'll
into
never
doing it.
know until they have an All Stars.
That would be dope. See you back
Yep.
there.
Yep. But I think if they did that, they wouldn't have the winners come back
It,
because Phil, I don't think I've ever seen a winner come back on Amazing Race. And I think he might hold that standard again.
right.
So that's a bummer.
Mm,
But
just
maybe I was on the short list. Maybe
there
I'll
you
be
go.
there. Maybe.
There you he better be there.
I agree. I'd be sad.
I'll be sad.
I'm not usually sad, but I'll be sad.
Did you try out the sabers?
Nope.
No.
Nope. I don't use
I was gonna ask
them
you.
very often. Yep. Actually, I think one of the first times, like I used them a couple times when they sent out the tomahawks,
Mm-hmm.
and then on Chad's job, I used them
Mm-hmm.
for those columns. That's about.
That's really what I use the tomahawks for, is like bridging
Mhm.
gaps on bulkheads and columns and all of that kind of stuff. I used to do them for my butt joints, but now I box them and then do a tight skin with a trowel. And I really like how that's turning out. But yeah, like I've yet to find a piece of that kit where I'm like, I don't use this, or I can't find the place for this. Um, yeah, luckily there's always something. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um,
Well, I have two trowels because the one I use for bead, I cannot coat a butt with it. It
really?
is, yeah, it's the level 5. It is amazing if you want anything 12 inches or less.
Okay.
But like it doesn't flex at all. So when you're trying to like feather things out, it does not do that.
Right.
And then I got this 14-inch trowel that I use for feathering. But
Yeah, those stiff trowels are like from point A to point B, this will be flat. It's like running a box, kind of like it's like
mm-hmm.
yeah. My trowel stuff's been weird. I have this like it's like a 5 or a 6 or whatever the count is. So it's a little bit flexible, but it's still kind of stiff. And I just use it for everything. I need that little bit of flexibility on it. And then I can kind of back my pressure off on it if I'm trying to fill stuff. But typically it's like a box or a broad knife if I'm doing that kind of stuff, or a tomahawk if it's like a real like bead to bead or something like that.
I've never gotten into boxing bead because you got to come back and tie into the angle.
Hmm.
But like long, I call them soffits. You guys call them bulkheads.
Hmm.
I've done it on the bottom of those, just like when it's like a 30-foot run.
Oh yeah,
I'll
dump a
do that.
box into it and go.
Yeah, but other than that, I am all by hand on bead.
So that's the next thing now. Brad's gonna show me how to do like how he's boxing his beads. So you're in with a very small handle and you're wrapping the corners and yeah, I'm excited because it's a clean look, but it's also like a touch it once kind of thing and you're out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything is going to be final skimmed probably with a trowel for a while. I think to final skim with a box on things like that, it's I don't know. I'm always hesitant. Yeah.
Yeah, I like doing it by hand. And plus, 56 a bead. It's like a minute per stick. It doesn't take me very long at all.
Yeah, so after working with Steve from Whitby, it's that like load, cut, and then you're skimming it off and then loading into the next, and then like
Mm-hmm.
it's just like a movement like this, and then you're moving. Like it that mastery of the trowel is so fast, and the amount of mud you can move
Oh yeah.
in that back and forth is incredible. Like that to me is faster than a box, but you have to master it. Like that's a
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Well, and I don't want to say I broke it down to a science because I don't think that far ahead. Like I'm a point A to point B person.
Mhm.
So I never start when it comes to like an 8 foot stick of bead. I never start on the bottom because a lot of people pull up and then they'll reach up and pull down. And then you still got this much to do.
Right.
So I'll do my first step from the top down. So that way
Nice.
I do top 4 feet. It's one stroke down. And when we come up, it's just a stroke up. Never do I do double motion while on the ground.
Right.
So I try and save a little bit of time everywhere I go.
Well, then you kind of have one lap mark too, right? Like
Yep.
in yeah, and then you're good.
Yep.
You want to talk about process? Like what's your process?
As fast as I can.
Yeah, no shit.
I don't know. Obviously, like there's nothing that I do differently. I don't think my steps when it comes to like, say it's the first coat, I'll box flats, then box butts. Actually, that's a lie. I just started incorporating. I will use the nail spotter on ceiling screws only.
Okay.
So I'll do that first so I can just run through the whole length of the room, not worry about my flats.
Right.
Then I'll do flats, then I'll do butts. Then I jump up and I star my corners the opposite way that I pick them normally so that
Okay.
any groove that happens gets filled with the next time when I do it the correct way.
The opposite way. Yeah.
Yep. And then when I do that, I tie my joints into the angles, streak off the butts because I box my butts. And then then I do the bead. And then when I jump off stilts, I do the same thing on the bottom, tie things off, spot the screws. I do, I said do.
Do do.
Insides is what I call anything less than an 8. So
Okay.
where I'm from, we do tons of closet wraps,
Right.
tons of window reveals. So I do all insides before I do trowel work.
Right.
I do those with a knife. But yeah. And then I
That.
do on the flush, I call it a flush. You guys call it skim.
Mhm.
The terminology is all weird. When I started Instagram, I'm like, what does that guy mean? But I've caught up.
You're like I'm skimming every day. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I box flats, butts, and angles all at once, and then I tie everything together.
Nice.
And I don't like the job to be hot, so I can do the whole job at once. If it's too warm, I gotta break it up, and I think that's slower than being able just to run through.
Hmm. When
Because
you're
go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say because once it starts setting up, it's harder to pick your three ways and whatnot.
Hmm. Yeah, you almost have to segment. Like you can only go
Mm-hmm.
so it's like running tapes before you wipe them. It's like at some point you that there
Dude,
is a
so
point.
I taped on Monday and I literally ran out a whole 500-foot roll of tape because it was so cool in the house before
Perfect.
rolling and using the angle head. So
What are you using to wipe your high stuff?
just it's a Rinky handle with a blade that Rinky sold. And I used to be in contact with them all the time, but they are gone.
Really?
Their page is still there, but I messaged them like a long time ago and they didn't look at it or nothing. They're just no longer on Instagram.
Bummer.
Yeah, they are a great company.
How big is that wipe off blade?
I think it's like I think it's an 8.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering because like the seven, I've been using the seven forever, and then it just feels like you get like 3 feet and then you go wipe it off again.
Mm-hmm.
And then anything bigger than that, you're leaving too much mud as you're wiping, like as it collects. So I started using a 10. Actually recently I've got a 10 tomahawk on a bent handle. And
Mm.
then you've got that like articulation of it. It's neat. Brad's showing
Yeah.
me a few things.
I don't mix mud too thin. Like
Okay.
it's thin, but not too thin where I can wipe probably like 20 feet before even having to worry about it
Yeah, okay.
because it doesn't drip down the knife.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Like I'm shocked, but I guess I'm kind of not. That when it's like soup pretty much, I think the taper runs way better. At least when I'm doing it, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
flush your corners way better. Um, but it is runny. It is a mess maker for sure.
I do thin it down more for angles than
Hmm.
flaps just because of the drag and whatnot. It helps with all that.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Are you using fiber fuse or just paper?
No, I will never use 5-O-Fuse again,
Yeah.
ever, 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 ever. I've used
Why
it once,
why
never
am I
again.
itchy? Why is everything so itchy?
Oh, it's my eyes burn.
So I've gone the other way with that, and I not only am using fiber fuse, but I've now got rolls of 6 inch in the truck. So like anything blown out just gets a 6 inch slap on it, and then you
Mm-hmm.
finish that. It just I think that it's easier. Or if there's like a
I,
box or a receptacle in my way, I'll fiber fuse over it, stick a little hole in it,
mm-hmm.
and then when I'm done everything, I just cut them out.
No, electricians don't like us, so I leave them presents.
Ah, this is for you.
Yep, no charge.
When we did that berry site, Steve took every single tool that we were using and caked an electrical box with it. So he took like the corner box and stuck it in there and like the tube, the automatic pump, like all kinds of shit. And he never put it out. And it made me so sad.
I'm not like that. But if the box is on the joint, I will box over it. So, well,
It
not the
takes
first time, because the first time you'll catch a fuzzy.
100%.
So after the first coat and you sand it really good, there's no fuzzies, and you just go over it that way. But yeah.
I used to, when I was doing all my prep, take like a real coarse sponge with me and then wipe out like sand, any boxes, anything that was in the way to get rid of all of that until I figured out you break on your first coat. And then when you're
Mm-hmm.
sanding, you just run over it quick. It's like
Yep.
I used to waste a lot of time and now I just waste some time. It's getting better.
Yeah, I find that I try not to be wasteful.
Mhm.
When we ever hire a new employee, we're like, you're new, you don't know this stuff, we get it, but your point A to point B can be just as fast as ours.
Mhm.
So like you learn point A to point B, and like I've been drilled that since I was 6 years old. So anybody can not waste motion when you're walking.
I mean, and it works. Like that's been the biggest part of working with other people is catching up on all these little things. Like, after your 8 inch box run, do you sand between coats?
Mm-hmm.
And do you do much on your 8 inch?
No.
Yeah. So I used to sand the entire place out. And I would turn the sander head because you're not hitting it when it's flat because you're dumb, right? Like it's like if from one side to the
Don't
other.
call me dumb. This is
If
you.
Yeah, I know. If it's not touching, the next box isn't going to touch it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right. And then
No,
every
I
once, you
it's
get a
just like a
drag.
quick brush down.
Hmm.
I literally run it over everything, but there's no grinding, there's no actual sanding, just to get the hitchhikers and the lift marks down. That's it.
I always found in the process of doing that, you get way less hitchhikers. It like the momentum
Oh
can
yeah.
stay. I'd
Well,
almost
and angles, the angle box runs smoother over a slightly sanded angle, anyways.
totally.
So, oh yeah, I've always done that. But I used to be the same way when I was, 18, 19, and just grind the crap out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Idiot.
Idiot. Man, I sure am using a lot of mud on this site. You have to just sand it all off every
Well,
morning.
I've been a tool guy since day one.
Right.
So I didn't really sand it off. I don't know what I was doing. It take me like 8 hours to sand out this job. And I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
I hate sand day. But now sand day is like, depending on the size, an hour to 2 hours, and I'm out of there. Or texturing, not out of there. Because I typically help dad texture.
Which is a moneymaker. It sounds like we don't know.
I don't charge.
Oh, you just do it?
Yeah, I'm there because I have to sand it anyway, so I'll help him texture. We're in and out in a couple hours. It's nothing off my back, and he makes the full money.
It's awful nice of you.
Yeah, you know. Although I've talked to Brian from Drywall Nation, he's like, we charge more for level 5 or for texturing than level 5, and I'm like, no, opposite here.
Yeah.
Because like we have the big pull behind trailer that fits easily a pallet of mud in there, and
Right.
we've timed it. Me and dad have both raced to see who can be faster. And the same house, which is about 5,000 board feet, just a little guy, and we've done it in 19 minutes.
Whoa.
And that's orange peel, but that's also doing a jazz on the ceiling, which we spray and then we use a stomp brush to stomp it. So
Right.
all the main ceilings get a stomp, and it's still 19 minutes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So like why? And then level 5 takes how many more days?
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, so speaking of that, Dennis from CGC, I saw him at the show, and he hooked us up with Tough Hide.
oh
It's
yeah.
a
Yep.
USG product,
Mm-hmm.
and we sent it through the Graco sprayer, and you get it up to a level 3, level 4, so 3 coats, and you just mist it on the wall,
Yep.
and then it dries in like 45 minutes. Yeah, so I sprayed 5,000 board feet, and then by the time I got to the beginning again, I went vertically because I sprayed it like you cross it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time that we were done that, like we could have started sanding that day, man. And it
Yeah,
like it's
I've used it.
incredible.
That's what we use for level 5 here.
Yeah.
Because one, it's stronger than mud.
Yes.
So when you sand it, or stronger than mud and then weaker than actual paint, so it can be sanded and fixed if necessary.
Right.
But it's nice. It's almost like self-leveling.
Yeah, the way you missed it on there,
Mm-hmm.
that first coat of it, I was like, this is pretty textured. And then when we came back and crossed it off, I was like, this is mint.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. What sprayer are you using? Do you have like a?
I don't know. It's all white.
Yeah,
It's a Graco something.
it's about this big. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big guy. It's a big one. We put like when we do our pre-primer texture, because we do a pre-primer, so the texture lays down the same. Because if you don't primer, the texture will lay differently on a mud joint than the paper of a piece of sheetrock. Like it'll
Oh,
flash.
right.
So it's literally like a pre-texture primer, and we white it out, and we use like a 1200 size tip.
Okay.
So that's pretty big. So we have one of the bigger sprayers.
And then you just kind of slap it on because you know that, like, is it a
No,
heavier
we
coat that does, or is it faster?
no, it's just it gives every inch of the wall the same
Oh.
layer
Hmm.
so that the texture won't flash.
Right.
So,
Interesting. Yeah, and the different tips are like different spray size, I guess.
yeah, different fan sizes. Like a
Right.
1200 is like I can't even show you. It's good size.
Yeah, but you're backed way up doing it. I was shocked how far back from the wall I was spraying that Tough Hide.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like 6 or 8 feet off the wall.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I don't think I'm doing anything. And then you go check it, you're like, this looks great, I guess.
What size tip?
The one that comes on the Mark V.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It was borrowed.
Yeah.
So it's the one that came on it.
It looked way too new to be on the job.
Mm. So Brad's like, I asked him, I'm like, you got a demo unit or something, maybe I could use it. He goes, yeah, no problem, man. And I show up and there's a brand new unit sitting on the floor. I'm like, oh, cool. He must be selling this. And then we all stood around it, and him and Ryan looked down at it, looked back at me a few times, and I was like, "Is this the one I'm using?" Brand new out of the box. So I was like, "Oh God."
And they
I must have
trusted
spent an
you.
hour. I must have spent an hour going through everything and through everything, and then I went back out, and it's still got the speckles of the white from the water, and so you do it all again, and I couldn't
You
get it.
didn't spray it with like WD-40 so that it comes right off.
I did nothing other than
Oh
exactly
man.
what he said. It was pretty simple.
Yeah, like those the bead boxes.
Yeah,
Yeah, the hoppers. I'll spray that
yeah,
with WD-40 so the mud doesn't stick to the sides at all and just all goes to the bottom.
that's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like a silicone.
I don't know. I use
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
WD-40.
yeah. It's
Yeah, I'm sure any oil-based thing that's a lubricant will do the
mhm.
same job.
I did, so that fluid film that I spray the tools with for like the moving parts, I sprayed all the inside of the boxes before I do, and I that's what I feel like it's doing, but I didn't know for sure. I just,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're spraying stuff, you look busy.
Is that what you do? You just look busy?
Just look busy. They're like, wow, you seem to spend a lot of time on site. Uh-huh. I thought about that when we were out in Surrey too, where it was like we're doing like 12 hours plus days, and then people start getting tired, and I'm like, oh, I bet you some of these people work 8-hour days. We're just keeping them here. It's like,
Well, which was it? Was it Hayden's podcast? You said people were gassed in Surrey. I know you weren't
mm,
talking about me. Okay, just checking. Just checking. I mean, 12-hour days are half days, dude.
I I mean, the longevity of the hours is not because I'm doing more work than anybody else. It's that it takes me that long to get it to where I want it to be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the days are somewhat getting shorter. Um, but yeah, time is time though. Like if you're used to like stopping to eat and eating dinner at a certain point and
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and you miss one of those checkpoints, you get gas pretty quick, man. And it's like I got to keep eating. I get grumpy pretty quick when it's a food thing.
Oh yeah, me
Everything
too.
everything else I'm pretty good, but when it's like when I like am developing a shitty attitude, I'm like, when did you eat last, big guy?
I
Go get a Snickers. Yeah.
still think it's funny that some people didn't think we'd get that taped in a day.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that I never second guessed. Not a chance.
There was this like feeling where I was like, oh man, we're in trouble now. And then I came out into the hallway and you had this like shit eating grin on your face. And I was like, I think we're okay. And then you took off with it. And I was
Mm.
like, oh yeah, we're okay.
Yeah, well, we didn't. We all stayed in our own rooms
Yeah,
for a
for like,
good for most of that morning.
I'd say like 2, 3 hours, anyways.
Yeah, I think me and Gilbert's were done first with our room, so we teamed up,
Hmm.
and then I don't think that was until like 11:30.
Yeah.
So we have our rooms done at 11:30, and then it wasn't. We started doing the flats, and then when it got to angles, Cam was helping us,
Hmm.
him and Wes, and then we taped that out, went to lunch, and then another 2 hours downstairs was done. Cam
Yeah.
jumped on the high stuff, and we went out to the garage to have class, and it was like 3 o'clock, 3:30. I mean,
And I think it was the Tuesday or the Wednesday, one of the coats wasn't dry enough to hit again.
mm-hmm.
And I had this feeling, oh, these are all going to be easy days now. Because tape day wasn't so bad. This day wasn't so bad. It catches up with you. Well, we had to install all that bead that showed up on the Wednesday and then catch all of that up. Have you seen the finished pictures?
I've seen a couple.
That big fireplace is all
Oh
covered in
yeah,
stone, like
oh yeah, all that work we did. How
the
rude.
all the millwork, the amount of millwork. I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, we three coated that and then sanded and touched up.
I remember thinking Tuesday was the worst day
Mhm,
because we still had a buttload of chamfer to set,
mhm.
and I remember it was the end of the day. I think that was the longest day, actually. I think
I think
Tuesday
so
was the
too.
longest day. And I'm sitting there and it's getting dark out. And I just look at Cam and I'm like, we didn't get it. We didn't get it. And I was thinking this is gonna be hard. But then like Wednesday, we flew.
Hmm.
Like we were able to catch up the bead and get everything done that we could. And Wednesday was an easy day.
Yeah.
Super easy day.
Yeah, it was good times, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for the next one or the next something.
Yeah, I was pretty excited that I invited myself to that.
It was a lot of fun. It was everything.
I remember was
So,
it I think it was Wednesday night. We're sitting at the house and Cam he looks at me and you were sitting there, weren't you? And he's like, "We would have been effing screwed if you didn't show up, Danny."
100%.
I'm glad I did.
Oh
Not for
man.
the work, for the fun. I had
So
such a blast.
we were having like I was having weekly meetings all the way leading up. And then it was like we were talking to other people. We were going to have people like stop in for days. We were going to have like a bunch of different stuff. So, like, I think people started getting overwhelmed with that. And then it was like in big capital letters in that group chat, no more people are coming to this thing. And like an hour after that, you fucking messaged me. And I was like, Danny Moody's my fucking hero. Like, my mom's never going to talk to me again. I called Aaron. I'm like, can you tell him? He's like, oh, I invited Danny a long time ago. And I was like,
Well, yeah, that November that me and Phil were there, Hish brought it up to us. Hey, you guys want
mm-hmm,
to come back? And we're like, yeah, sure, if it works out. I didn't know there was like a bigger plan.
mm-hmm. Well, I don't like, so in June, something like that, Cam and Nick and I went out there and did some fresco work and we drove past the lot. And Aaron was like, yeah, there's going to be a house built there. Wouldn't it be dope to finish it? And I think he was joking, but I kind of looked back at Cam and we were like, yeah. And then after we did that fresco adventure, we got a phone call that week like, so you want to do that fucking site?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, man. He's right, though. When Aaron talks about it, it has to be much smaller. You
And
want to,
and better hanging crew, maybe, you know.
dude, if I told you the amount of companies I reached out to and the amount of feedback we got back, I found this like phenomenal company. And we were like, for the prices that you guys are charging, and like we can be competitive, and like, and it sounded like they were going to just crickets. And then it was like the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. And it was like, this is nuts. We got one quote that was like 45,000 to board it, but 60,000 to board and tape it or something. Like, do you know what I mean? Like they were like,
Dang.
we'll basically tape it for free because we're not
Mm-hmm.
just taking the board. And we were like, dude, you guys are killing us out there. But part
Well,
of me
like
thinks,
everything they did, it's like the complete opposite of what we would want.
yeah,
Because there are so many 9 foot ceilings, and you know there's 54-inch board there.
mhm.
And they didn't use 54-inch board anywhere we needed it.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it was tough. Uh, Aaron was saying that because like he was in Brazil, none of us live out there. Like it was one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time they got there, everybody was just so glad that they were on site because we had been waiting like 4 months.
Yep.
And it was like, okay, cool. We put a bunch of butt board in. Did you put it in right? What do you mean? What do
Yeah.
you mean? What do
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I think we boarded ourselves.
Oh yeah.
Why would you not? Like it's get a big enough crew. You can
Well,
bang a
and
house out in a couple of days.
Aaron mentioned that maybe Boise would be a location.
Mm-hmm.
I could drive my stuff down there. It'd be a piece of cake.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Airplanes go anywhere I want to.
Mm-hmm. Well, my toys, they're my toys. My
That's
tools
fair.
don't go across borders.
No, mine either. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, the when I left Surrey, I had the empty box of Mountain Dew because I knew
Mm-hmm.
Canada has the crap Mountain Dew. Uh, and as I'm coming home, the guy he's like, "So, you taking some Mountain Dew home?" And I'm like, "No, sir. I brought American Mountain Dew into Canada. He just
That's
started
right.
laughing. He
he,
knew. He knew. He
he was
definitely
probably
knew.
gonna make fun of you, like, that Mountain Dew is not very good from Canada.
Right, exactly. But then he knew. He knew
That's
the truth.
amazing. Oh man. Yes, it's dope, man. Wanted to have you on here for a while.
I know.
You're a
I mean,
busy
yeah.
guy. Yeah, you're like,
I
yeah, I've wanted to be here for a while. Yeah.
yeah. First time.
Hmm. Oh,
You
it,
know,
it,
I would love it if Aaron would send me, because I know that they sent Phil. Someone won the Phil's 100,000 giveaway, and they
oh,
sent Phil to the person's job site to teach them how to run the taper that they just won.
that's pretty dope.
That'd be sweet. I'm game. Aaron, if you're listening, I know you are, even though you say nobody listens, send me.
Man, in the last one where Caden's talking to the girl from Brazil,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, so and so, if you're listening, and like Aaron under
Yeah.
his breath, he's like, I can guarantee you she's not. I
Too good.
appreciate it. Yeah, that's too good, dude. Yeah, I mean, I've like weaseled my way into showing people how to use the taper, and I mean, as a beginner, like this is how to load it, this is how to clean it, all that kind of stuff. But if you were to like really try and catch somebody up, it's a guy like you that's got to go. I would think.
Maybe. Yeah.
I I've kind of started saying like running the tools and like process and things like that is kind of like jujitsu, where like it at the end of the day, it's you have a thing that you're trying to do, and all the different schools teach you a different way of doing it. But that like Danny Moody running the taper is like one of those like core schools. When you talk to the guys that are like really, really good, like Brad, he's like, yeah, I watched Danny and like watched his body and his mannerisms and like what he was doing, not the taper, what he was doing.
Hmm.
And then you pick up little things from that. Like you, I think,
Gnarly.
I think you were one of the first, dude. Yeah,
Hmm.
well, TK was around back then too.
Phil.
Phil, yeah,
Yep.
obviously Phil.
Phil and Drywall Nation were the people I started following. I was like, people put drywall on Instagram? What losers.
Idiot.
Idiot. And
Who's gonna
now,
watch this shit?
yeah.
Yeah,
And I started watching it.
yeah, me too.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to post this. I'm going to post this. And my first three posts, Drywall Nation shared and just like boosted my following right away. I'm like, oh, sweet.
Oh, just give me a second. And we're back.
And
Scarlett came to say hello.
I couldn't hear her.
Yeah,
Like,
she's very quiet.
oh, was she just being quiet? Okay, cool.
And then she screamed it. I was like, oh, the guy's poor ears.
Nope, didn't hear it.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, I was like, does your microphone not pick up high pitch?
yeah, right. Um, Moana 2, dude, it was dope. What do you mean?
I didn't watch the first one. I think I know how it ends, but like I didn't watch it all in one sitting or even all of it at once. So family can go watch the second one, and
For
I'm
sure.
I'm down with that.
That was Scarlett's big movie. Like, how each kid has like a.
Oh yeah, Frozen was my son's.
Mhm.
Like no matter what. I mean, my son was a great kid, rarely cried, but if he was crying, you turn on Frozen and that ice scene where they start singing,
Mhm.
instant zoned in, quiet, out. Is
Amazing.
perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, we did quite a bit of Frozen too, then, now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
good times. Oh, yeah, man. I think about that kind of stuff that we were talking about, like who's gonna like why would you put drywall on the internet? This doesn't make any sense. And when I started watching it, it's because I knew Brad. So I was like following his Instagram and I thought that it was cool. I wasn't even doing drywall at the time. I was still doing carpentry stuff. And I'm like tuning into Instagram for basically solely that. There was nothing else like Popeyes supplements or whatever. And then like the more you watch, you're like, man, there's a lot of people doing this. Wow, that looks good. This is so cool. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. Same with the podcast. Like nobody's gonna listen to this. And then it's like when people say that they do, you're like, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Caden said that too when he got hired. He was like, I didn't know that there was an drywall internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what
Well,
would you
what is he
possibly
like?
do?
12? Like who? He hasn't even lived.
Right? It's like in the Avengers when they're like, "Did you? How old is this kid? Eh, with the
Yeah,
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
I didn't carbon date him." Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a good fit too, man.
Oh yeah, fits right in. He took the abuse.
Hmm. Like a champ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, if he didn't, I would have beat him up.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That water fight, man. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I like to see on a site like that, where it's just like, this is a lot of work. It could be overwhelming, or is everybody having fun?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, when you're having fun, everything gets done. Everything, like, it's just
And
way better.
I knew something was up. I knew it. I seen him walk behind the Predator mobile, and I was like, huh, weird. And then like Addison was watching me like a
Mhm.
hawk, and I'm like, why are you watching me? And then I knew.
I remember you walking in the front door, like, who knew?
Right.
Who's against me?
And I looked at Steph and I was like, you knew it's on with you two now.
Ah!
And she's like, don't you dare. I will kill you.
Right?
Bet you won't.
Bet you don't. Yeah. Well, I think one of my favorite parts was up in that like library or the art room or whatever at the very top.
Oh yeah,
We
the skinny
we
room.
we had a blast in there, man. When her and I went up there the first time,
Are
it
you
was like,
sure she did? Because she cut herself, she fell off a
oh yeah,
bench, like she was beating herself up there.
yeah, her fucking phone broke. Well, no, the case broke.
Oh, geez, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think somebody knocked it or whatever, and then when they went to look at it, the screen was broken. So it was like, oh no. But it
I
was
bet you
just
she loved that room.
it was a protector. Yeah, I know. We did have a lot of fun up there though. That, like, I can remember the look that she gave me when I was like, well, have you ever run a 5.5 inch box? She's like, no. You should go get one. And then it's like, this is amazing. Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
this would have been a nightmare without it.
Yeah, I put the inside track wheels on my 5.5
Mhm.
because I'm all inside track. I do not like the outer axle.
Yeah. The only thing that has it is my 10 and my 14. And the 10 is just for like loading beads. I just like having the little hook off from the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 14, I don't know. I've just never thought about swapping it.
Aaron, if you're listening, we need a 14-inch fat boy.
Apparently it's a weight thing.
Yeah, I'm not scared.
I'm not scared either. I thought about going, so can you take the sidewalls off of another fat boy
You need
and
that
just,
front plate.
yeah, and just make your own?
No.
You cannot. And that's okay. All the time. All the time, I'll send, not all the time, but often I'll send Aaron like wouldn't it be cool if XYZ? And then he'll message me back, be like, not to break your heart. And
That's a lie. That's a
walk
lie.
me
He's
through why it's a
exactly trying to
stupid
break your
idea.
heart.
That's exactly it. Yeah, you could have texted this and you didn't, and you knew. You just kicking puppies. Oh, yeah, man. I love seeing all the new stuff coming out though. It's like, because once you've got a full set and like your process, and it's like you kind of don't need new stuff until you see it
Mhm.
and you're like, oh, I do
I
like
can make
that.
that work. I can
I
make
can
that
make
work.
can make that work. Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting, man.
Although I don't think I'm not going to say never, but I don't think I'll use a Graco pump.
The speed pump, like the
Yeah, the button
automatic.
push. Yeah, like I I like the pumping. I I, I don't know, just personal preference. I know so many people are like that thing is awesome, which it is. It's
Yes.
sweet, but I don't know something about a pump.
Yeah, that like just looks like you're punching the ground.
Yeah, I
Bang,
am.
bang, bang, bang.
Mm-hmm.
It's full. Are you full yet? Didn't think so. And then you run off with the.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It was pretty clutch in Surrey, and then Steve had his in Barrie, and it was just nice. You walk up to
It
it,
was
push the button, wah
Well, it
wah
was
wah
nice off
wah.
stilts too. You didn't have to
That
put it on anything. I could be on stilts and still reach.
yeah,
That was sweet. But I don't know.
yeah,
It's I mean, the price I heard was Canadian, so it's obviously way higher than the US dollar, but
yeah.
it was still like, nah, not worth that to me.
It's not the same as a pump. And then I was like heartbroken when Aaron was like, "We're not sending Graco pumps to everybody," and
What?
I was like, "If you just send it to me, it would be different."
What? Uh,
It's just the foot, right? That makes it what it
yep,
is.
yep.
But still, I know. I like my pumps. I'm not worried about it. And I've got the tall boy too for tape day, so it kind of cradles it a little bit nicer, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm pleased.
Tall boy, I'm like up here pumping, so I don't use it very often.
I like it when I'm on those stilts, those little 18 to whatever, the 12
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
18s.
yeah.
It's
I would
perfect.
I would like a pair of the 12 to 18 so that my son could get started.
That'd be dope.
It would be. Yeah.
Hmm.
Because they're light enough and they're gosh, Surf Pro stills are so stable.
Hmm.
So stable. My
I've,
favorite still.
I've never had a problem except for one time in Barrie.
When you fell.
Oh no, that's a different. So I've had two times. There's been two. The first time, Brandon's like, "Listen, dude, you got to double check all the wing nuts. You got to double check. You got to double check." And then I just got lazy, and I was like, I'm a master at these. I don't need to double
It's
check
been
anything.
2 weeks.
Yeah. So I'm walking around at the upstairs, the same kind of deal as the Surrey where it like comes up and then comes up again,
Barn style.
like a barn style. Yeah. And I'm feeling like my foot's kind of dragging funny. And then I look down and the back of it, the wing nut's gone. So if I had had those extended, it would have been a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily I hadn't. So I
Well,
didn't fall, to be clear. I tried to do the Gilbert hop off of them and look cool, and it did not look cool.
well, I'm sure it looked just fine.
Well, if yeah,
Depends
Steve,
on
it
who's
probably
watching.
that's right. That's right. Because if I open that all the way and just tie a knot on the string, and then I tighten it, it's still like my calf is so big, right? So then when I get out of it, it's still attached to it because this little whatever this is
Mm-hmm.
isn't big enough. I've got to like step out of it. So when I tried to do that and it came with me, I was like, oh no. I like gracefully fell, but I definitely mangled the
I
still.
I don't like the double pull.
Hmm.
I don't like that. I like the single.
Well, I can tell you the double pull is my favorite stilt I've used.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. Weird.
feel like that. What an odd statement.
It's
You
probably the worst you've ever used too.
see, I wasn't going to say it, but
They don't listen to this podcast.
no, it's okay. It's
No, I've fallen plenty of times.
have you? Yeah.
Oh yeah, jacked up all the way, texture in a ceiling. We used to clean tops, so when you do a jazz on a ceiling, too much texture would be on the walls, so you have to wipe it off. So
Right.
I'm jacked up all the way. It's concrete. I took too big of a step and just splits. And you see my hands on the wall texture, trying to catch myself. And do you think my dad and uncle let me get like I think I was either fresh out of high school or still in high school. You think they let me off stilts? Nope. I don't even take them off. They pick me back up and back to work.
So like,
But
ooh, for one, you're behind now, and two, you got to clean your dirty hands off the wall.
yeah, and for three, we're behind because we had to pick you up.
Yeah, right. You have failed us. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
No.
amazing, dude.
Plenty of times I've fallen. The worst one was I was taping and the insulators came in and took the floor off
No
to do
way.
underneath. And so there's like, it's a kitchen living room with a dividing wall. Well, I'm in the living room and they're in the kitchen, and that's where they took the floorboard off. And I'm looking up, taping string and tape, and I step in this sucker. And I've always been taught you don't drop a sheet, you protect the bazooka at all costs. So as I'm going, instead of worrying about my life, I
Mm-mm.
take the bazooka and I toss it into the corner, and it stands up in the corner upright, and it is fine. And luckily, I don't break my legs falling forward. I hit
Right?
the plumbing pipes with my ribs, and the guy walks in and he looks down, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is you." Yeah, but I think that was one of the worst ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You end
But
up through into the basement. Yeah.
what? You mean the crawl space? It's like 4 feet down.
Sweet.
Yeah, but I've been fortunate
Ta-da.
enough, exactly, not to die.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
mean, you've tried really hard if you have been
Apparently, if you
following.
ask a lot of people, yep, idiot.
Oh man.
It's like these people who comment on the safety and like I've went back and forth with a couple of them, and it's like, do you go on like Tony Hawk's page, a guy who's a
Yeah.
pro at this, and say like you shouldn't do that on a skateboard?
Yeah.
No, you don't do that.
I don't see any
Like
knee pads.
like
Yeah.
just
Okay.
if I fall, I probably won't post it, but if I fall, it's my fault.
I mean, when you do fall and you post it, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll try to catch those, but yeah,
As long as you're
like
not hurting yourself. And I mean, like, that comes with knowing the territory, man. Like, drywall inside and out, the stilts inside and out. Like,
although I do appreciate those people because they help with the video doing better.
mhm, that's right.
Negative tension is still attention.
Well, I was talking to Steph. I'm like, man, this like video that you made, doesn't it drive you crazy that everyone's being super negative? And she's just like, no, it's awesome for my algorithm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just give me 2 seconds, Danny. And we're back again. I'm wondering if the tablet noises are going to come through in the podcast.
Oh yeah.
I got her this like big, it's like a grid, and you can like cut on it and you can do all types of stuff, like for art. And then I got her clay instead of Play-Doh. And she does like little sculptures and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's great. So she wants to come out and play with that. I'm like, we can turn the tablet off, and you can if that's what you want to do. So that's what we're doing.
I wouldn't be mad if a piece of clay hit you in the face.
I know, right? She's not. I know that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has that defiance I have.
Mm-hmm.
Not too shabby. Um, how much time you got?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good.
Me too.
Yeah. No, Black Friday was awesome.
Yeah, that was easily my favorite event that I've been to.
Yeah. The worst part was that it ended.
Well, yeah, you got to go home at some point, right? And it's like,
Do you?
I know.
Like I would have loved to have the Saturday for all of us to do around and do another video like we
Yeah,
did in Surrey and they did in Brazil. Like that would have
yeah.
been sweet.
Out on that
Because like those
farm.
shenanigans, oh yeah, on the farm.
Hmm. Yeah, man, there was like goats and all kinds of stuff. We could have come up with a wicked video.
Mm-hmm. Would have been sweet.
Okay. It's getting antsy. Oh, yeah. I mean, that arcade afterwards was fun. You bowl so well. I was telling everybody, I'm like, man, I was super excited to see something that you were not good at. And then I look over there and you're like Fred Flintstone bowling. Like, you don't put your fingers in the holes. It's just like
Oh yes, I
strike,
do.
strike,
Yes, I do.
strike. Do you?
Yes, oh yeah.
I was seeing this kind of thing, the
Well, I
cup.
put the fingers in and I don't hold it straight. I tilt my
Oh,
hand so that I hold the ball. Yeah. Yeah. You're I mean, you're not gonna find many things I'm not good at.
I'm starting to see that. I'm
Yeah.
starting to find that.
In fact, when I first graduated high school and I'm doing drywall and I'm struggling and it's like I'm struggling to make it come together, I remember having a conversation with either my dad or my wife. I'm like, I am good at everything. Why can't I be good at my job? Like I was getting frustrated,
Ah.
but now I think I've cleaned that up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you're not so bad.
Yeah, I can fake it.
I can fake it. All the jokes like in the like Surrey group chat where it was like, oh, people are gonna finish. We all just do this on the internet. Like
Yeah, yeah.
all those little jokes, and then you kind of like you sit there and you're like, they're not though, right?
Hmm.
It's like we do know what we're doing, right? This could be bad.
I thought it was funny when we were standing around at the Airbnb in Toronto, and come to find out, I have more years of experience than like four or five of you put together. How many of
Everybody
us?
collectively, yeah.
Yeah. Mm. That's when you know you're old.
I know. Liddy's in the kitchen. She's trying to like spike up conversation. She's like, so how long has everybody been finishing? I'm like, if she asks me directly last, I'll tell her. I was like, dude, two
Year.
years. Yeah. 2 years full time. Which I mean, if somebody's like looking at my stuff and they see it, they're like, oh, that's pretty good for 2 years. But I mean, if somebody, if you haven't seen the work, it's like, who is this guy? The hell are you doing here?
I just know the guy putting on the event.
Yeah. I'm the facilitator. I'm the mascot.
Yeah, there you go.
Somebody has to be the problem here, and it's me.
Mm-hmm. Swifty.
I know, right? Good times,
so
man.
it was great. The flight going from Salt Lake City to Toronto, me and Lydia were next to each other.
Dope.
Yeah. So we got to catch up. I haven't seen her in a couple years. So that was sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys have known each other for a long time.
Since 19, maybe end of 18, beginning of 19, when the ambassadorship was going on.
Yeah. Just give me two more. I'm so sorry. Okay, and then we're back again. One of my favorite things about her is she's like always singing and like having a good time, and it's not good for sitting across from a podcast. You're talking and she's like la 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 la, just like I love you, but we need to go somewhere else. Oh, she's so fun.
Yeah, so we drove to Texas.
Yes.
Back in, was it 2020 and 2021 or maybe 2022? But the first time we drove down, we go through Bozeman, which is where Lydia's at. So we met her for lunch on our way through.
Nice.
So other than that, it was Austin. And I seen her, and then 2 weeks later we go to Black Friday.
Dope.
So yeah. We talked all the time. All the time.
I remember the guilt trip on the way to the airport. You're like, you used to be a good friend of mine. Just wanted you to know that. She's like, whatever, dude.
Yeah. And then you got too big for us. And then, like, when we met, we were basically at the same level on Instagram. And now, who's this Danny guy? Oh, Lydia.
Yeah, right. Everyone's like, leave her alone, nobody.
Yeah, exactly. Who's this guy? And she's even forgotten about me.
Oh. Yeah, I've had a couple of like back and forth with Lydia, and I've met her a couple of times, and she's great for how busy of a person she is and how successful I imagine she is. She's very humble.
She's all right.
She's all right.
Yeah, she's all right.
She certainly put up with us. I mean, that house is a fucking frat house. It was just like,
she's very social.
Yeah,
she can read a room and just have fun with anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good times. Yeah, I mean, this Black Friday, if it is, showing the future at all, that's very exciting to me.
Oh yeah,
getting everybody together. It's I think there was more buzz around that than some of these bigger events that we've been to, and it's specific, and it's like the people that want to come.
Yeah, Black Friday was way better than Orlando, in the sense of the people you're meeting are the people you've been seeing, rather than Orlando. Yeah, you met a lot of people, but a lot of people. Who's this guy? Don't know him. They don't even know us either. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially for us, which sounds super selfish, but if you're going to all these things, it's the same people going to everyone, really. Like
Hmm.
it was great to meet Ernesto and Matt, and like there were people that went to Florida that I'd never met before, but it wasn't like Black Friday was like 30 or 40 people. And you were like, oh, I know every single one of you. And like I'm tight with a lot of them. So it was amazing just to like
I I didn't know a lot of them,
yeah.
so it was great. Now I know them. Now I follow them, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, we're in the right spot too. Like the GTA, there's tons of us here.
Grand
It
Theft Auto.
yeah. Here at Grand Theft Auto, there's tons of us.
I'm never going there.
um, but I think it's like one of the big hubs, right? Like there's only like three big cities in Canada. That's it.
Hmm.
There might be more, but not like Toronto.
First
Yeah,
time,
dude.
it was fun.
Hey, you didn't do any sightseeing. Did you not want to do any sightseeing or?
Could we?
Mm,
Like that was a very quick trip,
yeah,
very quick. Like I told Lydia, I was like, don't expect to sleep.
yeah.
And then we had a conversation after we all got back, and I was like, well, you're welcome for letting you sleep.
Oh man, because we had everybody up till like 1:30 or whatever the first night, and then
Yeah,
we're up at 5:30.
and again, I was so wired that I woke up at like 4, mainly because we thought there was only one shower.
Right.
So I got up at like 4:20. I was first in the shower. So, and then I just laid around until Aaron and Caden got up and whatnot.
When Aaron went in that room, and it looked like a closet. It looked like
Right?
identical
It
closets.
did.
So nobody opened that door, and it's the nicest shower I've been in a long time. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna
Yep.
have a shower.
Yep. And then the next night we were up to like 4:30, and then had to get up around 7.
And no, I slept till like 9 or something. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing this.
Yeah,
They won't
I'm
leave
due.
without me because I'm driving them.
You're my ride to the airport.
Right. Just as I'm getting in the truck to drive up to the girl's house, I get this text from Brad. He's like, "Are you awake?" Like, yeah, bro. I've been up forever.
Uh-huh.
In the truck. Yeah, I mean those events are dope though because like you said, you don't sleep, but like you don't really want to. Like it's you want to
No,
hang out. You know that you got to recharge the batteries between point A and point B or whatever, and
my battery lasts longer than most.
I would say so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good event. When you did you so were you moonwalking on those stilts or did you make it look like you were moonwalking? Because I never
I
saw the feet.
mean, I was doing the moonwalk as best I could with these stilts attached to my feet.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there was like your feet, a foot of stilt, and then a table. That so I didn't
Uh-huh.
get to see. I was like, I think he's moonwalking
I
on
was.
the
I was
stilts.
I was attempting to.
And then you walk around, do a clean chin up. I was like, go home, Danny. Like this is enough. This is too much for me.
Nope, I never go home.
No, I don't want you to either, dude.
Yeah, whenever I go somewhere, I'm always the last to leave.
Hmm.
Like New Year's Eve party, me and my wife drive separate because she doesn't want to stay there, and I'm staying.
Yeah.
Like this is how it always boils down.
Well, you don't drink, so it's not like you're getting
No.
into trouble. It's just like I'm
Well,
sucking
I
every ounce of
when I
excitement out
do
of this.
drink though,
I bet.
it's oh man. Re- were you around when Aaron said, remember how he was kicking the balls and everything at the bowling alley and everything?
Yes.
And he's like, just imagine if I did everything I thought of doing. Did you hear him say that?
No.
Yeah. He's like, just imagine if I did everything I thought of. That's me on alcohol is I just do. I just do.
It does turn off that maybe I shouldn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol's just like,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you think it's funny? Then it's totally funny.
Yeah. And it's probably not funny.
Oh my gosh. So we're doing the bowling, and then it's like everybody pick names, and I'm with Teak and Nate, and I'm like, oh, we're all gonna put stupid names in. I can't wait. So I tell them
And you put Sean in, huh?
no, I put
Well, you said
oh
stupid name.
I know. Wow.
Oh,
That even took a second.
well, it is you. So
Very good. Gets dunked on his own fucking podcast.
just remember, you invited me first.
I know. I did. Very happy about it. What did you spend your money on for the games?
Oh, just random stuff.
Did you? Yeah.
The basketball one. I wasn't really going for tickets, and I did get tickets. Like I offered my tickets to people, but
Yeah.
then uh was it Kayla and Allison? They went and got little trinkets for my kids. I'm like, I'm not taking these little things home.
Uh,
Yeah. So no, Hayden challenged me to one-on-one bowling. Did you hear about that?
no. Did it work out very well?
I mean, all I do is win.
No matter what. Yeah.
And what was funny was so my first ball, open frame, and this fool gets a strike.
Hmm.
And he's just rubbing it in. And I think he might have went first. And I think his first two balls were really good. And I'm like, all right, well, better show out. And I literally doubled his score.
Ooh.
And what was great, yeah, so he actually did go second because I remember saying that in the 10th frame, all you have to do is hit one pin. And if you get a spare, you have a third ball.
Right.
Hit one pin and I don't double your score. And he missed both times. And so I think I was like 166 to 83. Yeah, you may double me in height, but I double your game.
He is one of the only four people listening to this screaming at his radio right now.
Right?
That's not how it happened.
That's exactly how it happened.
That's exactly how it happened. And I won the water fight. Yeah.
Well, I did win the water fight.
You
You
did.
saw the footage.
Mm-hmm. So that was my favorite part of your takeover. Wasn't the password they gave you was Caden won the water fight?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
idea.
Oh,
That
was it? Okay.
Yeah, so I messaged Kate and I was like, so how do you guys want to get this back? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I hacked in and I stole it from you guys. So we need to make it so you guys get it back somehow. And then I'm the one who said, let's do something with water. So it's like you win. And he's like, all right. Then he came up with the idea. So yeah, that was my idea. That's how fun I am. I'll allow you to win. Maybe once.
As a joke.
As a
Yeah.
joke. I will win in the end.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're like, I will farce a win for you.
Yeah, exactly.
For marketing reasons.
Mm-hmm. No, I thought it was great.
Oh, dude.
Good touch. Good touch.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, yeah. Your takeover day was pretty dope.
It's pretty good.
I like that. I like that. I haven't gotten one yet, but that's fine.
It is fine for the rest of us. It doesn't happen.
Oh, I know. I know. They would lose followers. Caden hands me the live that they're doing at Black Friday, and he's like, "Here, you're on live," and I'm walking around talking about it, and I'm just like, I can just see the followers plummeting. Like, so when I handed it off, I went to the most introverted person there, to Kayla, and I was just like, "Hey, can you hold this for me?" Right, and then when she took it, I was like, "You're live on the internet," and just walked away.
Good touch. Good touch.
This is how you do this. It's like, what an asshole. They do good. She's a lot of fun. She came out of her shell a little bit that when we were doing that fresco takeover video.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all had fun. I think some of us are a lot.
Yeah, they're all right.
Yeah.
But come on, I'm probably the most extra. And they reached out to me to come work with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think they know how to have fun.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I'm not saying on the Instagram. I'm saying in their normal lives. They know how to have fun.
Oh, I bet.
They just probably don't like us.
Yeah. It's me. I know
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, no doubt.
Man, for at least that first full year, Aaron kept going, yeah, and Phil's coming, and that'll be dope. And then I'd get all excited, like, wow, I'm gonna meet Phil and like spend some time with him. And then Phil wouldn't come. And then so the third time that that happened, I'm like looking around like it's because of me, isn't it? Like, so I kind of brought it up with Aaron. I was just like, like I don't have to come to the next one if you guys want Phil to go. He's like, the fuck are you talking about? It's like, oh, sure, it was my presence.
Well,
Uh,
I just lucked out because Phil was supposed to go up there 2 weeks prior with Damien
oh
and
yeah, yeah.
Gilbert, and he was supposed to be there for that. And then he couldn't make it, but he could make this time frame. And that's when Aaron's like, "Hey, let's surprise Phil, and you come up, Danny." I was like, "All right, cool,
Sounds good.
yeah." So Phil didn't know I was coming. That's why he showed up.
That would have been dope. He's like, no.
Now he messaged me early on saying he wasn't going to make Black Friday either.
Yeah,
So that's a bummer.
I know.
And I was out. I really wanted to see Phil because I mean, of the whole Instagram world, he's one of the few people that reached out after Cam. Like
Mhm.
that's how close me and him are. But at Black Friday, I was really looking forward to meeting Stefano.
Oh yeah, Tabor guy.
Yep, yep. We were supposed to meet in Vegas in 2020, but then COVID hit. They shut everything down.
Bummer.
I know.
Um, Same thing that first year, Aaron came down for the Barry grand opening. He came down a couple of days early, whatever he was doing, and Stefano, Tannen, and I went to a Jays game with him. And then we went and like did karaoke and like a bunch of stuff afterwards. But like Stefano's he's a good guy, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
seems like a whole lot of fun. We were both looking forward to meeting.
At some point, I must have given him my number. He
Well, you
reached.
tell everybody about your podcast. I'm sure you hand your number out to
Nah,
everybody.
I'm pretty. I'm pretty. I'll hand you the wrong number. I'll do. I'll do that. Sorry, dude. I don't know. I like people being able to reach out to me if they need me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there are some people that wouldn't just reach out if they needed you. They'd call to talk. And I don't know.
Aren't you that guy?
I am that guy, but I'm that guy too much already, man. Like we're, it's
I don't need
it,
other people involving themselves in me talking all the time.
dude, year two, I was like scheduling time with my kids in my calendar.
Dang.
It was bad. But I didn't think that the business was ever gonna like, as you're taking off and you're like, things are good, but they're not gonna be good next week. And then like 6 months goes by and you're like, okay, maybe things are gonna be good next week. Like that buffer period was like a full year for me.
Hmm.
So it was like, I know I have Brawley here. I know I have Scarlet here. I know that it was in my work calendar. It was bad. So like any sort of extra on top of that, I like pushed back pretty hard on.
Mm-hmm.
Getting better at it, kind of.
Yeah, I don't schedule anything.
No, you just work and come home and
Like this last year was the most scheduling I've ever done.
really.
Oh yeah. And most of my flights were like last minute. So yeah, fly by the seat of my pants.
Well, and you're in that tough area too, where you've got to like fly to an airport that then flies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Having
Spokane's just not cool.
no. Yeah, unless you're chartering a jet, I think you're always going to have to go to a larger airport, which kind of
Yep.
sucks. But
Mm-hmm. It's
oh,
fine.
dude.
I'll make it work. I'll make it work.
Oh yeah. I did. I always just go, this whole day is a travel day. And if I've got to spend 12 hours in and out of airports and stuff, I just make the best of it.
Like all of us missing our flight in Orlando.
Dude.
Not only Cam missing his flight because of the pedicure, but we all did.
And then everybody else. There was like
Mm-hmm.
a storm or something. That was the
Yeah,
worst.
it was a storm.
Yeah.
I slept. Where was I? Was it Salt Lake? But I slept there for like 6, 7 hours
Yeah.
because I left with you guys at what 7? Is that when we left? Got to the airport about 7ish.
Something like that. Yeah.
I didn't get home until like 16 or 17 hours later.
Oof.
Wait, no, that was 7 Orlando time.
Yeah.
It's 4 o'clock, so I didn't get home until noon the following day. Yeah, it's cool.
with a smile on your face.
Worth it.
Mm-hmm. Totes worth it.
Totes.
Yeah, I like the fact that we're doing Airbnbs everywhere that we go now.
Dude, yeah.
It's way better.
1000% better.
Yeah, waking up and like if you're not the first person up, there's coffee ready. Like you know what I mean? You
Gross.
go
Gross.
to I know.
There's always Mountain Dew ready.
There is always Mountain Dew ready. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
When Nick took that last Mountain Dew and then he like went in the garbage and got an empty can and we're like, go put that empty can in your room. So
Yeah, weren't you taking that candid video? And I was like, "Who's gonna die?"
who's gonna die? And then he kind of like looked at me with the camera. You're like, ah, I knew that it was.
Yeah, I know this is a joke.
Yeah,
That was
because
a,
we
that
couldn't have
was the
got you
last good
anymore.
Mountain Dew. Yeah.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it was going to be funny.
Yeah. Well,
And I wasn't sure with the first reaction. I was like, oh boy.
that was fine. I would have survived.
Mm-hmm. Whoever took it wouldn't have, but you would have been fine.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, and I have a picture of you with a hat on.
I looked for it.
I wondered if you were
your
gonna.
hat,
Yeah.
and I gave it to my son because he loves hats.
Oh, good.
And I looked in his room briefly, couldn't find it, so I'm like, he'll have to do without.
Oh, totally. I would not have made you wear a hat.
Mm-hmm. I would have did it for a brief moment, like it did for Steph,
Mm-hmm.
for the photo, and then that's it. Because you're going bald, dude. If you wear a hat, you're going bald.
I know. And then you get to shave your head.
Are you going bald?
Yeah. I got it's like a little patch that's thinning and I'm like, I'm not being that dad. I'm not doing it.
Well, see, Cam wore a hat so often that I never knew how thin he was until he took it off one time. I'm like, oh snap.
Right.
He is thinning.
Yeah, you always had dope hats, man. Cowboy hats and whatever, and big fan.
Hayden just sent me a message of sleepy emojis after sending the story of you hopping on with me to do the podcast. He's just a hater.
Yeah. Everybody do me a big favor right now and unfollow Duratec.
He unfollowed Columbia. He deserves it.
That was so funny. He was like, yeah, I unfollowed them. And then I looked at Caden. I'm like, don't follow him back.
Yeah. When I had the takeover, Hayden asked to be a collaborator with Columbia. And I responded to him. I was like, not today, buddy. And Caden came on. He's like, Danny has takeover, so we'll do the collaboration tomorrow.
You just go and decline it. No.
I should have unfollowed him and blocked him, and they would have never known. It's not like he's cool.
Yo. That's amazing. That could be why I've not had a takeover, because when we talked about it in the beginning, I was like, yeah, I'm going to post a bunch of my shit on there. Like I'm absolutely going to abuse this. And everyone looked at me and I was like, oh, that wasn't funny. Like, okay.
When Cam had the takeover, he did the ask me a question. And he got so many questions about me. It's hilarious. My wife. Text your wife, Danny.
Yeah, remind Danny to check his phone. And it's like, I think you're in trouble. Yeah. Good times, man. This year's going to be a big year.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I am all for it, man. Exciting stuff coming down the pipeline, man. It's like every year I wrap up the year going, there's no way next year is going to be this cool. And then the following year is better.
Well, that's going to be hard pressed for me too, because like I said, I traveled so almost every month I was gone.
Nice.
For something. So definitely hard to beat. Do
you like spending that much time away from the house though?
I must be different because I was gone for a whole month on Tough as Nails. And while I may have missed the family, it wasn't hard.
Yeah.
Like So since I made it to the finals, they flew in my wife and my dad. And
Nice.
Bailey, one of the producers of the show, like she would do the interviews, like apart from the actual competition. She got to talk with my dad and all the other finalists' family, and she talked to me prior. She's like, "So you get your phones back tonight?" Because we didn't get our phones, and it was Valentine's Day, and
Ooh.
and I figured it was going to be like late getting out of here, whatever. And she's like, "So you gonna message your wife tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, probably just wait until do it in the morning, whatever." Well, she goes back to my wife and
Oh.
was like, "So Danny's not going to text you on Valentine's Day." And you know what? My wife's like, "Yep, that sounds like Danny." Like, I don't know. I do well in situations away. Yeah, I miss him, and the getting the big hugs
Hmm.
is like the best thing ever. Like they even said that while filming Tough as Nails that I cried when they came out, and I'm like, no, 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 play the tapes. I didn't cry.
You're like,
If they would have like my son was sick and she almost brought my son with. I was like, all right, if my son came out, probably would have bawled like a baby. But
totally.
you and dad, nah, I didn't cry. Yeah, it was
Nah,
awesome and I was surprised, but no. Yeah,
that's awesome.
that's
I
just
do,
how I am.
I do have that. Like, if I have something to focus on, I can just turn everything else off and just be
Mm-hmm.
like, yep, this is what we're doing. I know when it's over. And when I'm over, I'll catch up. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Cool,
And plus,
man.
the more I'm gone, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
It certainly does.
So, like, you know, if I was here all the time, my wife would kick me out.
Yeah. You then you wouldn't still be married, and that's perfect.
And you know what keeps a successful marriage? No communication.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
because
a
the more
new
you
one.
communicate, the more you realize you hate each other.
Right?
See, less is more.
Right? Danny's like, follow me for more relationship.
Yep.
This is number one. Don't talk to her anymore.
Ever. Ever.
You guys still together? I don't know, but we didn't break up. Yeah.
Hey, yeah. She didn't break up to my face.
That's right.
I came home and all this stuff was gone.
Oh,
But
I thought it was presents, but then it was just boxes of my stuff, and I was so confused.
yep. So confused.
Oh, I'm checking the time here. I've got a call with Cam's brother,
Mm,
so I think we got to bail.
bail on me.
I know, dude. It's the worst.
Whatever. So how you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, things are good, man. It's like getting back into the groove of everything and like finding how to make it fun again, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
For the first
Yep.
little bit, it was like I forgot the steps to the dance. And
It felt like the scene from Click
mhm.
where you're just in autopilot and everything's just going.
Yeah.
Felt like that for a while. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, for how devastating that was, I think if it wasn't for this community coming together and doing everything that we did, I'd still be a mess.
Dude, Black Friday was not only fun, but it was a necessity.
I think it was too.
Yeah, it was just,
Yeah, we're all still alive. We're all still.
yep. Hugs lasted a little bit longer just because of
Mhm.
what recently happened. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a certain amount of appreciation that went with it too. It was a little
Mm-hmm.
different for sure. Yeah, man. How you keeping okay?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Like I was just saying how I can go long distance and be fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I do surface page
Mhm.
often. Yep.
Yeah, my house is full of stuff. I got like pictures and cups and shirts and
Mm-hmm.
taper caps and stickers and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's good.
I tell people because I mean, obviously, being there was hard,
Mm.
but I think not being there would have been
Oh,
harder because those
totally.
last solid 2 days
Hmm.
was awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah. That's for sure, man.
And like on Surrey, yeah, we worked together, but we weren't side by side. But
Yeah,
that job, we were literally side by side the
the whole
whole
time.
time. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. How we were picking on you.
I know. I liked it. It made me happy.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Do you want to come say goodbye to Danny?
Nobody wants to say goodbye to Danny.
Bye, Danny.
See you later.
Perfect.
That was perfect.
All right, man. It was good to see you. We'll have to do
Yep.
this again sometime.
Yep.
Okay. All right, everybody. Be humble. Treat everyone the same and do your fucking job.